The name itself conjures images of towering giants. Steel and glass monoliths pierce the New York sky. Fortunes are made here, fortunes are lost. Sometimes they simply vanish into thin air. This is a story of such a disappearance. It is a tale of millions missing. It is a puzzle, left unsolved for decades. The city has a long memory. Its old buildings hold many secrets. Some secrets are buried deeper than others. They wait patiently for someone to listen. Deep within the New York City Police Department's archives, dust motes danced in the dim light. Old case files lay stacked, monuments to forgotten crimes. Most were straightforward tragedies. Some were tales of greed gone wrong. A few, however, were whispers of true mystery. These were the cold cases. They were the ones that gnawed at the edges of solvability. They challenged detectives. They offered no easy answers. They just presented questions. Questions that echoed through time. One such file concerned the Manhattan Sterling Bank. It was a name once synonymous with old money and discretion. Detective Miles Corbin was not like his older colleagues. He did not rely solely on hunches or street smarts. He embraced technology. He loved data. Yet he also possessed a historian's curiosity for the past. It was June 6, 2025, a quiet Friday afternoon in the precinct. Corbin was sifting through digitized cold case summaries. He was looking for patterns. He was searching for overlooked details. That is when he found it. The Manhattan Sterling Bank heist. The brief summary intrigued him. No forced entry, no witnesses, no suspects, millions vanished. It was a perfect locked room mystery, but on a grand financial scale. Corbin pulled the original physical file. Its manila cover was brittle with age. The typewritten pages inside were faded. The ink was sometimes blurred. He could almost smell the stale coffee and cigarette smoke of the original investigators. This was more than data. This was a story waiting for an ending. Corbin was a young man. He was only 32. The heist had happened before he was born, yet he felt a strange connection to it. He decided this case deserved a fresh look. The heist occurred on Tuesday, October 27, 1987. The city was still reeling. Just 8 days earlier, Black Monday had struck. Stock markets around the world had crashed. Wall Street was a scene of controlled chaos. Fortunes had evaporated overnight. Panic and uncertainty filled the air. It was amidst this financial turmoil that the Manhattan Sterling Bank was breached, or so it seemed. The timing was either incredibly audacious or incredibly opportunistic. $20 million in bearer bonds were reported missing. These bonds were like cash. Whoever held them owned them. They were untraceable, a perfect target for sophisticated thieves. The vault at Manhattan Sterling was state-of-the-art for its time. It had a thick steel door. It had a complex locking mechanism. It required 2 keys and a combination. Only 3 people supposedly had access to the full sequence. The bank manager, Arthur Ainsworth, the head of security, Thomas Ashton, and the bank's president, who was in Europe at the time. The initial investigation focused heavily on an inside job. How else could such a secure vault be opened, without any sign of force? The investigators grilled Ainsworth and Ashton. Both men were pillars of the community. Section 4. Echoes from the past. Faded photographs and fading memories. Detective Corbin began his renewed investigation. He started by trying to locate anyone still alive from that time. Arthur Ainsworth, the bank manager, had passed away in 2010. His obituary described him as a devout man. It mentioned his quiet philanthropy in his later years. Thomas Ashton, the security chief, had died even earlier, in 1999. He had suffered a heart attack. He left behind a modest estate. There was nothing to suggest ill-gotten gains. The trail seemed to grow colder with each discovery. Corbin then focused on lower-level employees, clerks, tellers, maintenance staff from 1987. Many were hard to trace. Some had moved away. Some were also deceased. He managed to find a retired teller named Mrs. Agnes Periwinkle. She was now in her late 70s. Her memory was sharp. She remembered Mr. Ainsworth well. A good man, very proper, she said. Always so worried about everyone, especially after that awful market crash. He seemed older than his years, burdened. Agnes also remembered a young clerk. Her name was Eleanor Vance. Oh, poor Eleanor, Agnes sighed. A very quiet girl, very bright, but nobody really noticed her much. She was always reading. Often religious books, I think. She left the bank a few months after the unpleasantness. Said she was going to do missionary work or something like that. Never heard from her again. Section 5, The Invisible Thread, Unraveling Ainsworth's Enigma. Corbin delved deeper into Arthur Ainsworth's life. He read old newspaper articles. He looked at public records. Ainsworth had been a deacon at his church. He volunteered at soup kitchens. He wrote letters to the editor about morality and finance. This was especially true after Black Monday. His writings became more fervent. He seemed deeply troubled by the greed he witnessed. Corbin found a small, self-published booklet of essays by Ainsworth from 1988. It was titled, Mammon's Fall, Humanity's Rise. The essays were a revelation. They spoke of a spiritual crisis. Ainsworth saw the financial system as inherently corrupt. He believed it preyed on the vulnerable. He wrote of the need for a great reset of values, not a financial one, but a moral one. He lamented the worship of money. He yearned for a simpler, more communal way of life. His words were passionate, they were almost prophetic in their intensity. Corbin felt he was finally understanding the man, but not yet the motive for a crime. He re-examined the security protocols of the 1987 vault. 2 keys and a combination. Ainsworth had 1 key and part of the combination. Ashton had the other key and the other part of the combination. Section 6. Beneath the gilded facade, a different kind of treasure. The nephew found the box. It was small, plain, and unlocked. The lock had apparently corroded over time. Inside was not money, nor jewels. It contained a single leather-bound journal, and a photograph. The photograph showed a much younger Arthur Ainsworth. He was standing with Thomas Ashton, and between them, smiling faintly, was Eleanor Vance. They were in front of a simple, newly built wooden chapel. The journal belonged to Ainsworth. The entries began just after Black Monday. Corbin read the journal, his heart pounding. Ainsworth's elegant script detailed his despair, his crisis of faith, his conviction that the money in the bank was tainted. It is the devil's lucre, he wrote. It fuels a system of profound sin. He then outlined a plan, a breathtaking, audacious plan. He wasn't going to steal the money for himself, he was going to liberate it. He was going to use it to build a sanctuary, a place away from the corruption of the world. Thomas Ashton, the stern security chief, was not a hardened cynic. He was a man who had lost his son to a preventable illness, an illness they couldn't afford proper treatment for. Section 7. The Unclaimed Reward, a Legacy of Conviction. Detective Corbin drove to the coordinates he found hinted at in Ainsworth's journal. He found New Eden. It was real. It was a peaceful, thriving community. People worked the land. Children played. There was a school, a workshop, the chapel from the photograph. He met an elderly woman. She had kind eyes and a gentle smile. It was Eleanor Vance. She was now Mother Eleanor, the respected elder of the community. She did not deny anything. She told Corbin their story, how they had used the liberated funds, not for personal gain, but to create what they saw as a better world. A world free from Wall Street's excesses. They had lived simple, hardworking lives. They had helped many people who were lost or broken. The $20 million had been transformed, not into luxury cars or mansions, but into food, shelter, education, and a sense of purpose for hundreds of souls over the decades. Corbin was faced with a dilemma. Technically, a crime had been committed, a very large one, but who were the victims now? The Manhattan Sterling Bank was long defunct, the bondholders were anonymous, likely long compensated by insurance. And the thieves? They had lived lives of ascetic devotion. They had created something unique.
Disclaimer: the crime stories shared on this channel are fictional and created purely for entertainment purposes. Viewer discretion is advised, as the themes may still include sensitive or suspenseful content. Watch as I bring you thrilling tales well. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss an upload.